You know, and we all have our 15 minutes of fame, and I'd like to take a couple of my 15 minutes to talk about the rights and the wrongs in the world of professional wrestling.
And it is for the WWE Championship.
This match is for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
The World Heavyweight Championship.
The match and new NWA Heavyweight Champion of the world.
We appreciate you guys coming out and taking your time to support women's wrestling in America.
This match is for the AWA World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship.
Hi folks, this is Mr. Green of the Women's Pro Wrestling's Rights and Wrongs of Pro Wrestling podcast. And I just got to get on and do this quick intro because today we have return guests, and you'll hear me repeat all of this, but Erica Porter joined me on the podcast. That'll be just a moment later. This was somewhat of an impromptu, because generally speaking, when I have guests on, and you know, you go through the normal interview questions, and I go into the randoms question segment and then the fantasy booking segment. But you know, technically we've done all of that because this being her second time around. But she was calling because we had been missing each other. We had intended to kind of chat a little bit earlier. I want to say about a month ago or something along those lines. To kind of catch up. And I felt like it was pretty timely. WoW had started making his comeback, as you know, or as you may not know. It's been releasing his episodes, the second season of which I have full reviews of. Or if you go onto our YouTube channel, Women's Pro Wrestling Network, just type that in on YouTube, it'll all come up. And there's a playlist of them. There's a playlist for every episode of season 2 where they're all in review. So if you haven't watch them and you don't intend on watching them, but you want to kind of know what's going on, then yeah, you can just kind of go on there, you can listen to them and see how those episodes played out, because these are shows that were in the can. And at the time that we spoke originally, we weren't really allowed to talk that deeply about it because even she hadn't really seen the playback of the matches and all of that good stuff. But of course now all of that's out of the bag, and they are picking up steam from where they left off, even though the matches, I think, were taped some 3, possibly 4 years back. They are acknowledging everything that has taken place from that point on, so it is back into being fair game territory to talk about the things that took place, because you know how those TV tapings and wrestling goes. So in any case, long story short, Jungle Girl Erica Porter just kind of hit me up out of the blue while I was out having lunch, and just asked me, hey, I got some free time. Do you want to talk? And of course, I'm not going to turn that down. I say, absolutely, I got free time. I want to talk. I've been kind of saving that. So I got up after I finished my sandwich, jumped in the car, and ran on home. Got my audio gear hooked up and ready to roll. And then we sat down and we talked it up for a little while, just about an hour or so. And it was good stuff. I mean, it was good talking about her accomplishments in the ring, the matches that she had that she couldn't talk about before because there was a little bit of a hush order on it. And of course, what WoW was getting ready to do, as she is getting ready to go back out onto the West Coast and do her first championship defense against a young lady that some of you guys that follow the independent circuit should be very familiar with, Katie Forbes, who within the WoW universe is now known as Chloe Hertz. So if you see her name, that is who we're talking about, the Barbie Badass. So we're going to talk about all of that good stuff. So that's it. Just give it a second. It's going to turn over. The interview will be popping right on up. Okay, folks. This is Mr. Green for the Rights and Wrongs of Pro Wrestling podcast. Was presented to you by the WPN, and this is a return guest. This Erica Porter, who most of you would know
far better as Jungle Girl, and she is back because WoW is back, and this time it is back officially under a digital platform. You can go onto their website and watch all the previous episodes, and now they've gone off into doing some live event. So if you happen to be in the Los Angeles area, that would be good for you. And she's joined me today just to chat it up a little bit. She's come back. We had a great conversation the first go around, so I'm really looking forward to being another great one. Jungle Girl, how are you?
Hello. I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me. I feel so special and loved.
You are special and loved.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that goes without saying. Like I said, you were here before. You're back again. There have been some changes.
It's been too long.
Yeah. But there have been some big changes for you guys since the last time we spoke.
Yes, there have been.
Originally, when we talked, WoW was still up in the air. They were still kind of saying, well, we're planning on releasing this, and we have press releases for that, but nothing had really come of it. But as we are speaking right now, WoW has gone and released, I guess, the footage, which was edited into 2 different seasons. So now there's a season 2 and a season 3. And you are, or I guess the promotion is currently participating in live events. So there's been a big jump.
Yes. I think for David, it's been something that is, it's been his baby for such a long time. And, there's a calculation that comes with the decisions that he's making and what's in the best interest of the brand itself, what's in the best interest of the women that are involved. And, he could have easily put something out there and continuously put something out there, but I don't think it would have been in line with the brand, to be honest. And so I think that he's been very smart. I think the market will always be there. Hopefully the fans will stick with us and we can gain some traction with some new fans, in addition to the people that have been following along. And I think it's going to be great. I think people will be really, really pleased with the direction that it's going in. And it's certainly more accessible for everybody on the digital media platform, which seems to be the way that everything's going anyway. Everybody's got a smartphone. They're watching everything on YouTube and even Netflix on their phones. So it's an incredibly accessible platform in which to bring what we're doing to a bigger audience, I think.
I agree with that. I guess as long as the social media engagement is high, then it becomes a very good platform. You don't have to answer to sponsors and things of that nature, advertisers who may want to change the product or change the presentation. All that gets taken out of their hands, which is a great thing. And of course, WoW does have a very strong following, so I expect the best out of them as that relates. But
it's.
I'm sorry. That one of the major changes that took place, and we can talk about it now, is that you are officially the champion.
Yes, I am. I am the world champion of the universe, I believe is how David McClain put it. Not just of this world, of the entire universe as we know it.
The world champion.
Rightfully so, by the way.
Rightfully so. You there was a little bit of fantasy and reality tied into there. We talked about a little bit of that off line. How WoW's presentation has changed a bit, at least in my opinion, since the earlier incarnation of it. Is that they took a little bit of reality, kind of twisted some fantasy in there. I mean, they you openly have acknowledged family on camera, and the fact that you are an original and the amount of time that was put behind the pursuit of that championship, and that was legit. So, I mean, now that we're here and we can talk a little bit more candidly, the winning of the championship, regardless of what professional wrestling is to people, I mean, we all know that it's a little bit of make-believe in there, but there's a lot of pride in being the chosen, if if we could put it that way.
Absolutely, there is. And listen, and it doesn't come without an immense amount of work. I mean, you don't get the honor of having even the right to go up and to even battle for that title if if you're not fit. I mean, in any organization, whether it be WWE, TNA, even some of the indie women,
the independent promotion.
Yeah. So it's an honor. It was an honor to. I mean, in the process of going through it was phenomenal. It was, it allowed a lot of soul searching and working, really working for it. And it was tough. There's the last, I would say, 4 matches that I've had have been, some of the most physically demanding, emotionally demanding matches that I've had in my entire career. And I have a lot of respect for the women that I faced, and it really was an honor. It was true emotion that came out when I won that belt.
Okay, and it shows. And I did make it, I guess, public that I was reviewing the first. Well, I shouldn't say first season 2 of WoW.
Right.
I went through it from start to finish, and originally I wanted to kind of go through that with a participant, but I'm not going to do that because that might put you in an unfair position. That there were episodes that I liked, some not so much, but but at the end of it, now this is what I got from the journey of Jungle Girl. You seem to show, and I hope that somebody listening to this can give me their opinion on it too.
Okay.
A little bit of the training that you got outside of WoW. In my view, it came across like you worked an entirely different style of match than the girls that just got into WoW.
Right.
Did a little bit of that WoW / was it UPW that you were in at the time?
Yeah, UPW.
Okay, so did a little bit
and
of
IZW.
Oh, okay. See, now there you had WoW training, UPW training. Was ICW? Is that it?
IZW.
IZW.
That was Navajo Warriors promotion in Arizona.
And a lot of people forget that you wrestled beyond WoW. I know that they recognize you as Jungle Girl and that's it, but a lot of people tend to kind of forget about that your wrestling repertoire went beyond that ring. So did any of that come into play when you returned?
I think so. I mean, there's a deep, deep psychology that comes with wrestling, and I think that working on the indie circuit gave me a deeper appreciation for that psychology. I think it's, there are some hard workers out there that, they're traveling city to city, living out of their cars, barely being able to afford a hotel room to stay in on their travels. And there's such passion in the industry. I mean, there's such a love for what they do and such a deep understanding and respect for the values of the business. And, I didn't learn a lot of that in WoW. We were very well taken care of. David had a tremendous amount of respect for the talent. It was very different when I went off into the indie scene. But there was, we really learned a greater deal of, or I learned a greater deal of insider, I guess, information as it relates to just storytelling in the ring and character building and doing all of that I really didn't. I had grown up as a fan my entire life of wrestling, but you don't really, really understand that or appreciate it until I think that you are in that indie circuit and living it.
I'd say this without being, again, insulting to some of the girls that came through during those reviews. That was when I really tend to notice some of that because I hadn't paid attention to it before. But there was, I don't want to call it a spot. I'm not trying to use insider terminology, but there was a certain mannerisms that seem to come more often than not from the girls that just got there. The hookup, the collar and elbow tie up, side headlock, crank down on your head 3 times, maybe turn it into a wrist bar, crank down on that 2 or 3, shoot off into the ropes, shoulder tackle, that spot. And it seemed somewhat commonplace. And again, not picking on, I know that they didn't get necessarily the openness, the training that you got. So when I saw Jungle Girl versus Todrick the Gamer, it was a completely different show. Completely different. And I have said it in review. I'm not saying it now just to be saying it. You can go back and listen to it on my channel. If you don't believe it, I said, now that was the best match of the season. Easily.
Thank you.
And that Todrick hung in there, because I'll be honest, I went into that match just expecting Jungle Girl to carry it. But Todrick delivered the goods.
She's a great athlete. She really is an incredible athlete, and I think that and it was obvious from the beginning when she started her training, and she really took to the business, loving it. And I think that it comes through, in anything that anybody does, when you have a deep-rooted passion for what you're doing, it becomes obvious. It's not a sell at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's and there's so many of those people out there, that unfortunately don't get the recognition and don't get the platform that we've been so fortunate to have. I really, David has tirelessly worked to, gain traction and rebuild it and rebrand it. And, I think that most people would have given up, after we had folded in 2001. And it wasn't. He was adamant about, restoring the brand and making it bigger and better and doing it the right way. He made some mistakes in the past. He learned from them. He acknowledged it. And, we moved forward. And, he could have very well said, not so much. I don't think, we're going to move on with some new and shiny people. But he contacted me right away, and I had a tremendous amount of respect for him in how he treated the talent, especially after knowing, how I was treated on the indie circuit. I said, I will be there in your corner and work for you.
Very good. Now, I do believe that, I don't know if it was fans that kind of put it into his ear. Maybe he heard it on one of the podcast episodes. I'm sure I mentioned it as well. Or maybe it might have been his inner circle, or maybe he was scouting around. But I do see the influx of that gradual change that WoW has had. A lot of fans originally would say that WoW kind of existed within its own universe without needing to acknowledge an independent circuit at all. But that's completely changed, where you have a Santana Garrett, you have a Amber O'Neal, you have more recently a Christina Von Eerie, Holiday,
right,
and Spike, who wrestles as Hudson Envy. You can openly acknowledge that these girls have been out on the independent circuit and bring them in with their fans and integrate them into WoW, which I think is a far better presentation, in my view, to kind of keep up with the time, especially now where you have so many all-women promotions that have been scattered across the country.
I would agree, 100%. I agree with that.
But, I would be remiss if I did not ask this. And you probably know where I'm coming. I'm going to repeat that I thought that the match that you had with Tadovich was very, very good. Best one of the season. Anybody that hasn't looked at it, it's episode 10, Tadovich the Gamer versus Jungle Girl. I thought they did a far better story than most. It was easy to follow. Jungle Girl looks amazing in the ring. If you haven't seen her arms, you need to just check those out just on their own. So that being said, you look like you're in great shape. You stayed, very active. You seemingly have picked it up without losing the beat. I mean, maybe you might feel like you have ring rust or not. I don't know.
That's real, by the way.
That what, ring rust?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you didn't show it.
It is very real.
I believe it. But again, you seem to like get right back into the game. So the question, are you going to open yourself up for anybody that wants you now?
Probably not.
No?
I don't think so. I think that that would really speak to not being happy where I am, and I'm thrilled with the organization. I'm hoping that it keeps growing. I'm getting at an age where I'm going to have to pass on the torch, not too far in the distant future, I'm sure, but it's I would love for the WOW promotion to be working more. To be more active and participate in that more. David has had a tremendous amount of trust in me, and there's been a loyalty, and I don't think that I would ever, go anywhere else.
Well, I guess I should clarify the question. I don't want to present it as in pick one or the other.
Well, in addition to,
because again, you got a lot of those girls who, even though they're there and have come back, they continue on. Abilene Maverick / Barbie Hayden. She's
right.
Still on the independent circuit. The ones I just named, Von Erie, Hudson Envy, Amber O'Neal, all of them have shown a great interest in coming back and doing well, but I also know that they will continue to show up at the Shines, the Shimmers, the Queens of Combat, the WSUs, and so on and so forth. So that said, without having to leave WOW,
I understand that. So no, I still wouldn't. So I think that.
I'm sorry, promoter.
I wish. What?
I'm telling the promoters out there, I'm sorry. I tried.
So I think that if all of that had existed originally when I was in WOW, 13 years ago, it would have been a much different story. But there's a lot of amazing talent out there. So for anybody even to think about booking me, there's people that are out there that are just extraordinary. They're young, they have a long career ahead of them. And I think that any organization, quite honestly, would be better suited to work with someone who has more of a shelf life.
Well, yeah, I will give that, and I'm going to go the opposite end of the coin just to present the argument. Because
I'm devil's advocate today.
That's right. You know why? Because I have to present it on the side of the promoter. Now, let's say you are absolutely correct. You as a promoter, you want to get somebody that's going to have a strong shelf life for them. That is true.
Right.
But you also go for novelty. You also go for somebody who can give a great presentation. And, maybe not necessarily work a full-time deal, but, hey, come in here and do something and, let's have a good match for your crowd and, we can sell it off of that. I.e., in this particular case, you have Matt Hardy, who's out in Impact Wrestling right now.
Right.
Maybe having the best run of his career as Broken Matt, which is an insane, crazy character. But the guy, he's 42. He's basically my age. And he's still doing it, but he also has trimmed down his schedule. He kind of gets to work when he wants, and they give him the money that he's looking for. He has his family traveling with him, and he's made it to where it is comfortable for what he wants to do. So again, playing the devil's advocate here. Let's
Listen,
no
I never say never in life.
Right.
With there are a few exceptions. Do I want crack? No, I don't want crack. So never say never. There's some things, but when it comes to business, when it comes to I would never say never.
Okay.
Is that good enough for you?
That's good enough for me. And all of these.
Listen, nobody's banging on my door right now, so I
don't think they've all seen it yet. Now let's take this in consideration. When were these episodes taped? That was in 2012, was it? When they were shot?
They were 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or 2 or 3. Maybe it was 3. It might have been 3.
Okay.
I had so yeah, it was right before I opened up my gym, so probably about 3 years ago.
Okay, so we're talking 2013, roughly.
Right.
So you did something at the end of the match with Tadevik that has now been coined Suplex City. Now you're doing this before there was a term called Suplex City. Now, granted, I understand stringing the German suplexes together wasn't necessarily invented right there on the spot, but it wasn't in vogue like it is now either. You were pretty much a little bit ahead of the curve, tossing her around at the end of the match.
Cutting edge, man. I'm cutting edge.
I see, and with relative ease. It wasn't like it was a struggle to get her up. I mean, come on. That right there alone is kind of a big sell.
Maybe I just made it look easy. It wasn't. It was a challenge.
Well, you made it look easy then. I'll go.
So good for my ego.
Well,
I need to talk to you at least once a month.
Well, you do need to talk to me once a month. Just for kicks and just to catch up. You should. But.
I know, you're right. I should. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
That's it. Yeah, but I'm talking about this confrontation. Again, for those who haven't seen it, there are 2 matches featuring Jungle Girl and Tadevik. So I'm just talking about the first one. And within this story, that going back to it, that's the other thing that kind of played out real strong here. Is the story that was being told.
Right.
The only thing that I think that was, I guess, missed at the original one was I don't think they defined whether that was, okay, the winner of this goes into the championship. It was implied, but I don't know if it was definitive. But, I mean, as a viewer, you pretty much got the point. This is an important match. These 2 ladies have beaten the previous pairing, who later became a tag team. So now it's down to the 2 of you, and you're countering each other, and you're beating each other up. Your ribs are hurting, and, all that good stuff. All the high drama that comes with pro wrestling as you're desperately trying to land that splash that's going to put her away.
Yes.
Who was responsible for that match? I mean, I have to know this now, because again, and I can't say it enough, that stood out far more than any other match that season, even the championship match. All due respect to Lana Starr and Spike.
What do you mean who put it together?
Were you calling it in the ring? Did y'all decide before you got out there? I mean,
you want me to tell you my secrets?
Well, okay. Can you give some of that without blowing your secrets?
There was a whole lot of Jungle Girl.
Okay, we'll go with that. So you still, I mean, that right there, a whole lot of Jungle. That tells me you still got it.
I do still have it.
Yeah. So
I do still have it. I don't know how much longer I still have it for, but I mean, listen,
mm-hmm.
fitness is my life. I opened up a gym. It's been my life. It's what changed my life. You know, so it's one of the most important things for me. So staying in shape. My thing is always be ready. You know, always be ready. I'm not preparing for any particular event. I'm not, you know, I don't like fitness shows, and not that if you like to do them, that's fine. But for me, I just always want to be ready.
Okay. Well, you know.
And I'm going to stay ready as long as I can.
Well, you were clearly ready. Clearly ready in that regard. So, you know, let's move over to season 3, where you guys have advanced the story. I guess I should clarify that at the end of the first match, it was essentially a draw.
Right.
Neither one of you won. I think it
well, yeah, there was a winner.
Well, we're talking officially now.
No, officially, we had some breath issues.
Yeah, officially, I understand. I think it was the old double pin. You applied it. Here we go back again. German suplex. You applied the German suplex with the bridge. You had Tadevik down. You're trying to kick the referee to get him back up and into the match. Another referee shoots into the ring. Tadevik sees that referee, and she gets her shoulder up, while you also are applying a bridge to get your shoulders off the ground. But
right.
Neither one of you are necessarily successful, so they count both shoulders from both people, and then they say the other person won.
Right.
Which then leads into match number 2.
Exactly.
And what a story you're trying to tell there. The fight through the ribs.
That was real. I mean, that was not a word. That was as real could be. And that was it was a grudge match more than it being a title match. A title contender match, I should say. It was a grudge match, and it was hard fought. I mean, listen, she's an extraordinary athlete. Truly, truly is. I give her all the credit in the world. And, that was my heart and my soul going into that.
It seems like it. You know, most of the wild matches had been kind of clocked at, let's say, including the entrances and exits, about 5 to 6 minutes. Somewhere in there. But your matches were 10 to 15, you know, so when you say that heart and soul kind of went into it, I would say heart, soul, body, you know, that kind of all seemed to get wrapped up in there.
Right.
There were portions of it that seemed quite punishing, actually.
There were portions that were very punishing. I mean, you know, for me, I'm a very physical person anyway. So for me to wrestle anything other than being very physical would just be denying who I am, you know. And Jungle Girl really is who I am, you know, in that sense, just very raw, very animalistic. You know, it's not about cheating to win, but it's about, you know, taking the measures necessary to win with as much brute force as possible. And that's what Jungle Girl has always been about. And so then when you get another competitor in there that's just as physical, you know, that makes for a hell of a match. You know, you have a lot of imbalances maybe with some of the matches, and that happens, you know, regardless of the promotion. But when you have talent that is lined up fairly equally, you know, magic happens.
I see. And the chemistry that was expressed between the two of you, I thought was very good. I don't know which one I would say. You know, I'm gonna give the edge to you and Tadevik. You know, I was hard pressed to find chemistry better than you and the farmer's daughter. I think we talked about that the first time I had you on.
Yeah.
The first one. I thought that was the match of the pay-per-view. But yeah, you and Tadvik have done a little better there. I would tend to believe. I think that extra experience that you brought into it may have been the determining factor there, in my view.
And there is a bit of wisdom that comes with age in just, I don't know, seeing the bigger picture of things. I think maybe it was difficult, even in the original WoW days, for me really to understand the bigger picture of it all. So there's, with the insight of having worked on the indie circuit and just the insight of life, it becomes a lot more transparent to see everything as it is.
Okay, so we should conclude and tell so that the second match was won by Jungle Girl officially this time, following a beautiful splash. And you have great form when you come off the rope and do the splash.
Thanks.
There's no falling off or none of that stuff like that. I mean, there's an elegance to flying through the air.
I think that's the match that I almost fell off the turnbuckle though.
Don't go and get yourself killed now. We don't want that.
Tonight I almost fell backwards, so I leaped off quickly. But it's I can't remember if that was that one or with Lana.
I don't remember. I don't remember which one that was. I know that the effort to go was the effort to get up there happened three or four times in the Titanic match. I think that was a little bit, and that's when I look back at that. That's one of those things that's like, okay, this is a little bit different because the story is now being told that I've got to hit her with my coup de grace, and I got to try to do it as soon as I can. And she kept countering, she kept moving out the way, or whatever the case may be. And then finally, it once I got her down, she's not moving. This is it. I can hit her with this, and boom, you give the crowd what they're looking for. I finally nail it. So it's those moments in there where I'm looking at it, I was like, this works. This is a little different than the other ones that I've seen. So yeah, I think that's that little bit of independent wrestling knowledge that has creeped in to help you through.
Well, I take it. I appreciate that.
And then your last match would be the match, the championship match.
Yes.
Yourself and the fabulous Lana Starr with Miss Kitty in her corner. Now, one of the things that's amazing is that you don't really play it up as a, I guess, quote, baby face. But in some cases, you almost came off as a heel, but here
I think there's a slight transition of. I think, I think that WoW saw the softening of Jungle Girl, especially becoming a mother. So I think there is a transition with, I was always kind of a tweener anyway. I was never really, I think people. I wasn't a true heel, and I've never been a true baby face. So it's it's an interesting line to play because it's people don't want to hate me, but at the same time they don't really want to like me either. So it's it's been, she's interesting, Jungle Girl.
Well, now how can you not like Jungle Girl at this point? Because you brought up a great point, because one of the things that came out, and we said it a little bit earlier, is that WoW began to acknowledge your family. They acknowledge that you are a mother, that you have a son, and not to get ahead of the match, because of course I want to talk to you about the match, but at the end of that, here he is on the big screen.
Yeah.
So, if you're out in that crowd, or you're watching on TV or watching on the computer, what have you, and you see this, you understand the story that Jungle Girl has gone through. That I'm an original. We got to start with that. I'm an original WoW. I've called out for the champion in that first season 10 years ago. I never got my here I am now, season 2, 10 years later, and I'm having to cut through the competition just in order to get the shot. I finally get the shot. Now I'm having to fight through these obstacles during the course of the match. So I mean, the story there is very clear, it's very evident. I don't know how anybody there could just boo, not want you to win at that point.
Right.
It's probably one of the better stories that it came across throughout the WoW revival.
Well, I think, but also you have been along for the ride too.
Yeah.
So and you're a purist. You're a purist as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's So I think if you really understand, one, having been along for the ride since the beginning, since we started back in 2000, and then going through and understanding that all of it. I really do. I think the storyline is awesome. I think the entire thing is great. And I hope that I hope that it comes across as it was intended to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it could be lost with the newer fans. And, but I think that there's a big enough group of original people that have been following it from the beginning that I think do appreciate what we've done. And do appreciate where we're taking the entire thing. What's to come next, I don't really know. I have Chloe Hertz on the 29th, but other than that, and I don't know much about her.
Yeah, I was going to get onto that. I was like, I saw that you have a title defense coming up. You just mentioned her name, Chloe Hertz. I forget her name on the independent circuit right now. It'll come to me later. But I know that
Katie Forbes.
There you go. Thank you, Katie Forbes, the Barbie Badass.
The Barbie Badass.
That is her moniker. So yeah, I remember. Here again, we have another indie girl who's coming in to work you for a championship that I guess at this point you're kind of tasked with bringing value and prestige to the title as the champion.
Right.
So first, before getting back into the match that was past tense with Lana Starr, let's briefly talk about the event that's coming up on the 29th, which has been pretty much advertised for about a month or so. WoW has a live event that is going to take place in Los Angeles at the Belasco. I might be saying it wrong.
Yeah, the Belasco Theater, which is beautiful. I'm excited. We've never done a venue like that before.
And here again, it speaks to, I guess, the influence that the independents have had. I believe, and I could be wrong, but it is very much in that vein where you have these companies that take these theaters and kind of take them over, and they have this beautiful backdrop for these matches that go on, and you got these people that get in there and they have these incredible high octane matches, and you're about to be in the ring with one of those people that could potentially give you that incredible high octane match.
Right, I'm hoping.
Now, are you training for cardio? You train without giving away too much of your plan, of course. But are you training to put in the 20, 30 minutes? If it goes bell to bell, if it goes the distance.
Listen, I mean that's one of my gifts, and I told you before. I train to always be ready, and whether it's to be in the ring, whether it's to be faced with some challenge in life that I need to I need the stamina for, whatever it might be. It's you never know, the zombie apocalypse, whatever it might be. I got to outrun them. So I'm in great shape. I've been in great shape. Really the best shape of my life for the last, I want to say 7-8 years. And so whether it's, and that's both, strength and cardio. So whether it's it's a 5-minute rough and tumble, or we end up going 25 minutes. I'm ready.
I see, and I'm certainly not going to doubt your ability to go. I said it now in this conversation. I said it in the WoW reviews. You have come to the game or come back to the game in amazing shape. So I am a believer.
I like it. I like it.
Now the
That's
actual
a ringing endorsement.
It is a ringing endorsement.
I know.
I know
I
that
appreciate it.
WoW doesn't necessarily want to take endorsements from other locations and podcasts and things like that, but
I will take it personally.
Okay, Erica Porter will take it. That's an endorsement from the Women's Pro Wrestling.
I will take it.
Indeed.
You know, I have nothing but love and mad respect for you, so I will take it.
And I appreciate it. It is reciprocated. Now, the championship match itself. We have to tell people, go online and watch the match. This was the crowning moment of Erica Porter's in-ring career as she faced Lana Starr for the championship, and I will dare say was the other half of maybe the best match that she has been a part of.
Oh, well, thank you. I really think that she doesn't get the credit that she deserves. She really doesn't, and she happens to be in the best shape of her life right now.
She's done great.
Obviously,
she did. I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, she's done great, and I certainly wanted to give her credit where credit is due. Her match with Spike, the two ones that she had there were probably the best showcases that she's had leading into the Jungle Girl match. The only other time that I've ever kind of this didn't really show off what she could do was, unfortunately, and not a knock on Sunshine, whoever she is or wherever she's at, it was far too short. It didn't give enough to show the return of Lana Starr. So I didn't think,
right.
I didn't think she got off to a good start in that regard. If I'm going to compare it to the way they used champions back in the day, you want to have them go a good 5, 6, 10 minutes just to show what they could do.
Absolutely.
But that match was maybe like a minute and a half, if that. So I felt it was unfair to her as the champion. Hudson Envy, however, that was a different ball game. She was able to stretch that out.
Right.
Jungle Girl, different ball game. She was able to stretch that out, and she had the manager on the outside pop you in the head with the mirror and all that stuff. So yeah,
I like Miss Kitty, or it's not Miss Kitty, it's just Kitty. I always get in trouble.
Oh, she like Miss Kitty. Okay, I'm sorry. I need to apologize for that because I think I called her Miss Kitty too. So
I call her Miss Kitty all the time, but it's just Kitty.
Okay, so I'll just say Kitty. So you like it despite the fact that she nailed you in the head with this mirror?
You know what? She's I appreciate a good sense of humor and the fact that she thought that was going to do anything.
Okay. You was going in beast mode.
I am a beast, man.
So there is no mode. You just like that. Once the bell rings, beast mode is 24/7.
Yes.
All right. So that.
Look, I'm not looking to have my shoulders pinned ever. So somebody better take me out and take me out good if they expect to exchange the title to anybody else. So, as far as Chloe Hertz, there's she better bring her if there was something greater than an A game, I would say she's got to find that.
Oh. Wow, okay. That is those are strong words. I mean, you almost put me at a loss right there just saying it, but that's promo material. It's something stronger than the A game. All right, so
something I don't know what that would be. That would be.
I don't know either. Is there such a thing?
Me.
Oh well, you are on fire right now.
She's got to be Jungle Girl to beat Jungle Girl.
Have you? Are you sure?
And I just don't see that happening.
Promos. You're just running it right now. So
Come on, we got to build up that match.
Well, you're right. So, and I will say I missed how she earned the shot, because I know that there was a live Facebook feed of some of the matches, and I didn't get a chance to watch it. So
last Friday, and you can still watch it, by the way, because she went against Holly Bed.
Okay.
And so I don't know if it's on WoW. I know it's on her Facebook page.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well,
on her on Katie Forbes. I know that the match is on there.
I will have to take a look at that.
I watched it.
Okay, so having watched this now, what did you walk away with from your upcoming opponent?
I'm confident that I'll be keeping my title.
Oh, okay.
No disrespect to her, but
so she's got some work cut out for her.
She does.
And
I'm sure she knows that, and I'm sure she's preparing accordingly. But like I said, it's hard to get ready for that in a 2-week period of time. I'm always ready.
Okay, now should I even begin to play devil's advocate here, or you sound like you're already in your competitive mindset. Should I
You've already done it today. Come on.
Okay.
Don't stop now.
All right. So Chloe Hertz. Let's start with.
Yes.
She when she steps into wild territory, Katie Forbes is gone. Chloe Hertz is on. She adopts a new persona, commonplace in the world of professional wrestling. We get it, but she is I guess putting it out there that she's a little bit different game than the rest of the Wild Girls. I'm looking at one of the statements right now. I won't repeat it, but she's the realest bee in the game. So that right there is quite a broad statement. Do you feel like you will be able to toss her around the same way that you did with Tadevik and by proxy Lana Starr? I mean, you cut through some competition. Will she just be another one on the victims list?
I would be foolish to say no. Of course she will be.
And now I wish that I had access to her to hear her rebuttal, but we will just assume, for the benefit of this, that she is looking to relieve you of your championship. So
I'm sure she is.
So
I would hope that she's not embarking on a title match just for shits and giggles.
Well,
I would hope that she expects to beat me, because that will make it that much sweeter. Look, I don't want someone that lays down in the ring and just gives it to me either. I want to fight.
Okay, so basically saying that her drive and desire to win will make your victory that much better.
Absolutely, 100%.
I don't think there's any big secret that you will be looking for the splash from the top rope.
Who knows? I have other things in my arsenal.
Well, that you do. Your game has certainly been widened with the Jungle Driver. I think Powerball. I mean, you have quite a few of them that are in there. That just seemed to be the most efficient go-to that was in your arsenal.
I like the splash. I'm not going to lie. I love the splash.
Now, again, you saw the match with Hertz. Is there something that is in her arsenal that you feel like, all right, I got to watch out for that one?
She does a lot of lucha style wrestling, and so she's quick. She's got a lot of head scissor maneuvers, and I've watched her work, not just with WoW, but I've watched her, and yeah, I mean, she's a formidable opponent. I mean, I would hope that they wouldn't put me with anybody that wasn't deserving of it. So, yeah, I mean, she's, listen, you got to always be ready for whatever might come. I'm not going to lay down and think that it's going to just be an easy win.
Okay.
And I wouldn't have done that with anybody. There's not a single opponent from, hammering Heather Steele to Sarah the Princess to, everybody's names are escaping me now, but
there's a new one on the rise. I think the MMA fight. I don't know if she's actually gonna get in the ring. Genesis.
Oh yes.
That's
I would love to face her.
Oh, really? Now that was the second half of that question because I'm going to go ahead and assume just based on what we've talked about there that it's more or less a foregone conclusion that you're going to put Hurts away. That seems to be the general idea here. So
even if I didn't, I would still hope that there's some competition out there for me, and I build it back up so that I get another title shot. But I'm going in with the expectation that I'm going to win, and and then I'm sure people will be banging on the door at a shot at the title. It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
And there's a nice roster of women building up, and it's going to be fun.
And that is exactly what I'm getting to there. The hard question. You survive Hurts, and if you had your choice of who is next in line, if it was champion's choice of who gets the next shot up, is there any particular preference that you're dealing with right now?
I don't know. I may like a Santana Garrett. I think that she has a lot of knowledge, a lot of training, and I think I would love to battle it out with her. I don't know as far as I've watched Genesis in the Octagon, but I've never seen her wrestling abilities. So, but if she's anything like she is in the ring, fighting in mixed martial arts, I would love. And Kita is another one who, if you watch her in her mixed martial art, she's outstanding.
Yes.
If she starts applying some of that stuff, in the wrestling ring, she's going to have a good time. She's going to have a good time climbing up the ladder.
Well, I don't think it could have been said any better than what you said, that the roster's expanding and you're getting a lot of girls with, at this point, a variety of different styles.
Von Eerie, even Hudson, Spike.
Yeah.
It would be, there's some great talent. And there's a lot of girls I would really like to work with. I would love to work with Spike.
Okay.
I think she's an extraordinary wrestler. She's done a lot of work in Japan, and that's a different game altogether, and I think it will be good.
Yeah, the strong style, as they say.
Yes.
So you'd have to go directly into beast mode, do not pass go, in order to adjust.
Yeah, but I'm not shy, and there's not many things that I don't feel like I can handle, and I'll prepare myself accordingly for those things. But the amount of training that will take to face somebody with a very unique and different style is not going to be much.
Okay. Now, one thing that has not happened in a while, and I know that you're not the matchmaker, but I just want to address it just for a moment. Of course, since 2000, when WoW was originally around, the landscape of how the matches kind of go about in title matches has changed a bit. You've been in a ladder match, but not a ladder match where you had to climb up to gain your title.
No, that's true. And that wasn't a ladder match; it was a squash match.
Oh yeah, that's
the one
right.
that I done. Yeah.
the ladder came into play, but it wasn't
Right.
It wasn't a ladder match. You used a ladder. So
Yes.
But now let's take this into the booker's office, and they say, hey, you know what? We got a great idea. We're going to put you in a four corners match. You're going to take on four people at one time, or you're going to get into a ladder match, or a hardcore match. Are you prepared to step in the ring under some of these crazy circumstances that professional wrestling has provided over the years? With some weird matches, some a little bit more obscure than others. But are you ready?
I am.
You
Yeah.
are. Okay.
I am.
I like the confidence.
I am, and now, mind you, I do think that there's a difference in what the fan wants to see from women than what they want to see from men.
Okay.
Just by whether that's sexist, whether it's, that's just one of those things that kind of is what it is. Like with our pay-per-view match that we had back in 2001, and there was blood, and the fans didn't like it. They didn't take to it. It was, that's not how they wanted to see it. And I don't think that, I think that's more maybe Japanese style wrestling, and it's, but I don't know that fans here are quite prepared to see that unless they're seeing it in like the UFC, where Ronda kind of changed that game a bit. And,
Well, okay. Now that's a good point right there. That Ronda changed the game, and the influx of women in the UFC and just MMA in general. Do you think that opinion has now changed? Here we are, some 15 years later, and quite possibly maybe there's an acceptance for it. Do you think that may have come into play by now?
Maybe. Yeah, but even then, I don't know. I don't think that. And quite honestly, even myself, I'm not a huge fan of hardcore matches anyway. Mm-hmm. I just think that you deviate from what's so beautiful about wrestling, and you stop wrestling and you start beating each other with stuff. That's a street brawl.
Okay.
And I think that, and I'm really not interested in watching most matches like that. If we progress to that place, then, we'll visit that, and I'll make a decision, but ladder matches and things like that, hell yeah, I'm on board. But, the hardcore matches, I just, it's, first of all, you got to have one hell of a storyline with somebody to take it there. And it's really not that interesting. Quite honestly, it's not wrestling. It's not that interesting. I don't find it entertaining. And I could be in a minority.
Okay.
But I don't know.
No, that
I would rather watch.
Person.
I would really rather watch some solid, like a Kurt Angle in the ring, just getting it on, and then I'm trying to think of who's had some of the most horrific hardcore matches.
Well, I'm just gonna say, let's just use. I'll use a defunct promotion so we won't insult anybody. There were a cast of people that were in XPW, and they pretty much built their career off of that. And I didn't care for any of that. But
I don't care for that. I really don't.
I don't mind a hardcore match every once in a while, but it was pushed beyond the level of good taste in my view in that regard. They had light tubes going across each other's backs and then taking buckets of salt, dumping on it. That was a bit much.
Yeah, it is a bit much. I don't know. Clearly some people liked it, but not enough because it's defunct. But so I'm just put that out there.
Good.
And you don't see a whole lot of it. You don't see a whole lot of it anymore. You don't. Not with the promotions that have
not with the main
that are televised, and no, not the main promotion. You'll see it a lot with a lot of the indie, and I think because a lot of those guys feel like they have to pay their dues and be like that to prove something. And I'm like, I've watched really, really good wrestlers just do stupid things that just first of all, weren't worth it. Putting their bodies on the line like that, for $20 and a shitty meal. I'm like, dude, it's because you're 18 and you have no idea.
Well, you're invulnerable.
That one day you're going to need your nuts.
Please. You're right. And unfortunately, I've seen matches where they've allowed things like that. So, yeah, it probably wasn't the best idea, I'm sure, particularly if you want to reproduce.
And what do they know at 18? No, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I could go on and on about that, but it's not my bag. It's not my cup of tea. So I'm hopeful that it's, that I'm not going to be asked to do something like that. Because then I think you really lose the purity of what we're doing.
Well, I do have faith in a while that they won't go that far. I don't believe by any stretch of the imagination they'll go as far as anywhere close to what XPW. I mean, like I said, they really try to push the bar beyond what any human being should do.
Right. Listen, even the UFC, by the way, when the UFC didn't have any rules and it was just a bloodbath.
Oh yeah.
It got really poor ratings until they started to implement. Okay, listen, we have to draw the line. We have to do this. It's turning people off. And when they did that, and it became more about the fight, it exploded. It exploded.
Yeah, it's I think the highest pay-per-view draw today.
So, I mean, I'm going to have to wrap up.
Oh, that's fine. That's all right. Well, I know
I'm getting summoned.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, I do appreciate you taking time out to jump on and talk with me a minute. Just chat it up about the return of WoW and the return of Jungle Girl and the forthcoming championship match. And I want to put that over one more time. That will be, is that this month? That's this month. Okay.
September 29th, next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Yes.
In Los Angeles. Then you certainly want to go to Theater for the Belasco.
Belasco Theater in downtown LA.
There you go. You want to go there and you want to see the main event match. Chloe Hertz, Jungle Girl, Wild Championship. They're going to get it on.
And they can go to WOWE.com if they want to buy tickets or for any other information. If they want to know about any of the girls or the promotion itself. And then, they can always find all of us on social media and we're always out there and certainly more than willing to talk to the fans and open up conversation. And listen, I'll even be ridiculed. I don't care.
No, don't ridicule Jungle Girl.
I'm a big girl. I can take it.
I know you can take it, but we want to keep you in a certain light. I like you as is. I like you serious business, beast mode, all that good stuff. We don't want to ridicule Jungle Girl. Leave Jungle.
Okay, good.
So, folks,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I try to look out for you. So, folks, the champion will be there on the West Coast. On the 29th, next Thursday, from this podcast, as we are now recording this. If you want to catch her, be sure to go on and purchase your tickets. I don't know whether they will be doing the video for it at this stage or not, but you definitely don't want to miss it. And you want to tune back in to see if we get any news on where they're going beyond the 29th, because I'm sure there will be more news and updates that are forthcoming. So,
definitely.
With that, Ms. Porter, a.k.a. Jungle Girl, thank you for your time and giving me some insight on what's been going on. I'm glad to have been able to sit down and chat with you.
Always. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk.
Anytime. The door for you is always open.
All right, folks, that was the interview with one Erica Porter, that a.k.a. Jungle Girl, one of the WoW originals. She came on, like I said earlier, to kind of chat it up with me and talk about the changes in WoW, the championship, the matches, all of that good stuff, and I appreciate her for her time. Listen, if you have the time and you have enjoyed the podcast, you like what we do, you like the videos that we produce, you enjoy the information that goes up on our Facebook, or you like the clips that's on Twitter, wherever you happen to be following us. And if you're not doing it, please hope that you do. All of it is free. It's not going to cost you anything at all. Nothing for the videos, nothing for, of course, following on Twitter or Facebook. It's not going to cost you to subscribe on YouTube, and it's certainly not going to cost you anything as the podcast is related. If you're on Podbean, you can click the subscribe button there, and you'll get every episode of every interview that I ever do. We're constantly trying to get some of the best girls out there to come and talk about their wrestling careers. If you're not on Podbean, or you don't choose to be on Podbean, the next phase for us with these podcasts are, of course, on iTunes, which is the biggest provider in the market. So if you are on iTunes, you can go on to WPN. Just type that in, and it will pull up our show and all the podcast episodes. I believe there are about 8 so far. And you can click that subscribe button. It is a free podcast. So regardless of whether you listen to it that day or not, it's not going to cost you anything. It's not going to hurt your wallet. You can have that thing download directly into the device of your choice, and you will be able to hear from myself. But I'm sure you tune in primarily to hear from people such as Jungle Girl, such as the Blossom Twins, such as the Duchess Azali, and Ashley America, who has retired since then, but I have gotten the last interview that she ever gave as a professional wrestler. So you can get all of that good stuff, and every platform is free. Also, if you are looking to show support, please like and share the videos, the podcast, because getting it around for more people to listen to helps our ratings, and of course, helping the ratings keeps the show alive. If you want to do support in a more direct way, you can become a show Patreon and provide a little bit of moral support and monetary support, and we appreciate it either way. All right, folks, that's going to be that. The very next podcast is going to be Women of Honors, Kelly Klein. She's going to join me on there. That's also going to be kind of a special podcast, because I actually did that one face to face, and there's video for that one. So you'll be getting it on both ends. You'll be getting the audio podcast, the MP3, especially those of you that have gone ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you are on our YouTube channel, the video of that interview will be on there exclusively, so you can catch it on both ends. Now, if you want to hear us talk, that's fine. I think that one's going to be a little bit more uncut. And the one that is on our YouTube channel, of course, that's going to be edited down a little bit, just to kind of illustrate the points that she's talking about. But either way, it's a good interview, and you'll get some good information. Okay, folks, thanks for joining me for this one, and we will catch you next week. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and thank you for your support.
Thank you for listening to the WPN's Rights and Wrongs of Pro Wrestling. If you have questions or comments, please contact us via our Facebook or our YouTube channel at the Women's Pro Wrestling Network. If you're new to the WPN, feel free to subscribe to our channel and like our page. We appreciate your support. Thank you again for listening.